Hi everybody, this is Jill Perry-Eising. I've lost 125 pounds in the last year and a half, and my channel is about helping you lose weight too. And so today's video is about when you get home from work and you're tired and you don't feel like cooking, what do you make? So I have an egg and sausage casserole for you today. It's a simple, easy meal to make, and I lost my weight by keeping every meal underneath 500 calories. So this meal I think comes to 487 calories. I have to take a look in the MyFitnessPal app. That's where I mark everything down. So without further ado, I'm going to get started. So when I don't feel like cooking, I want to make sure things are nice and easy for myself. So I have everything laid out on the counter first before I'm ready to start cooking. And this way I can just bang through it. So I've got my pan ready to go. I've got a bowl ready to mix my ingredients. And for this breakfast for dinner dish, I'm going to be making a casserole that's got eggs, hash brown potatoes, cheddar cheese, and breakfast sausage. And I'm going to be mixing those eggs with milk. And then I'll also use that pan spray back there to spray the bottom of the pan so that I don't have to put in any kind of olive oil. And this way I save some calories. So I'm going to start by putting some pan spray in the bottom of the pan. And then I'm going to take the sausage and I'm going to just brown that up in the pan. So this is the first time I'm ever using the the roll of sausage that doesn't have the skin. Usually when I make this dish, I actually take breakfast sausages and I slice them and I take the skin off of them and I break them up in the pan. But I figured to make my life easier, I'm going to buy just some ground sausage. Okay, so I'm just going to brown the sausage up. And the sausage is going to go on the bottom of my baking sheet. Not baking sheet, my baking, what do you call those, like Pyrex baking pan. So this is very easy. When I get home from work and it's late, or I've gone to work and then I've picked up my kids and I've gone to their sports and I've been running around, I don't want to have to think about what I'm making. So it takes nothing to brown up some sausage, mix everything together, dump it in the baking pan. Why can't I say that? What is that? Is it a pan? Is it a sheet? What is that? I don't know. Baking thing. It's a Pyrex. I think it's like 7 by 9. What is the size of this thing? Maybe you can tell me in the comments. What is this thing? What do you call this? I know it's Pyrex. And it tells me it's 7 by 11. So this is a simple recipe. I got this just Googling. And I'm using this recipe because I lost my 125 pounds by sticking to the rule of keeping every meal to 500 calories or less. So I think I did this already in MyFitnessPal because I always try to put my calories in to MyFitnessPal before I eat a meal, so I know how many calories I'm dealing with and I know how many I have left for the day. So I think, I'm not positive, I'll show it on MyFitnessPal afterwards, but I think this came to 487 calories or maybe 490, somewhere in that ballpark, just under 500 calories. So while I have my meat browning, I have my oven heating on 350 degrees, and I'll probably put the whole casserole in the oven for, I guess, probably about 45 minutes, but my oven, it's a Samsung, I wouldn't recommend it, it's 2 years old. I always say if the recipe calls for 45 minutes, I have to put something in for an hour. It's not a very hot oven if that's a thing. As I burn the meat on one side while I'm on video. They'll all eat it anyway because who else is going to cook if it's not me? They don't do it. When I say that, I have a husband and then 2 kids, 2 teenagers. A boy and a girl. So this is the first time I'm ever making this dish with the log of ground sausage. I usually make it with breakfast sausage links, like I said, and I chop those up. I usually take the skin off of them too, and then I chop them up, and I like this better. I like the way the meat's breaking up better. Okay, so the meat is done browning, and so now I'm going to get together the casserole. So I'm going to take the Pyrex dish. I'll spray that with Pam spray. So I've just sprayed the Pyrex with Pam spray to get started. I'm going to put about a half a bag of hash browns on the bottom of the pan. The hash browns, I don't know which way my camera's going to read it. The hash browns should be defrosted. So the recipe calls for something like, I want to say 16, I think it's a little bit more than a pound. I think it calls for 20 ounces. So I have a 26 ounce bag of hash browns here, so I'll put about half the bag in, give or take. And then I'll line the bottom of the Pyrex with that. Alright, I spread that out. Okay, so I have about a little more, half a bag of the hash browns. Alright, next comes the sausage. That goes on top of the hash browns. So I'll try to spread it out evenly. I did wash my hands, by the way, first, so that if I have to use my hands to do things, I can. Try to keep some of that grease out of there. Okay, spread out the sausage. And now I'm going to mix, well, actually, I think I'm going to put the shredded cheese on there first. I was going to put the eggs on, but I think I'm going to put the cheese on first so it's nice and in the middle of the whole recipe. So for the cheese, I have some Kraft cheese here. It's a, let me see, it's a 16 ounce bag. I use about a half a bag. The recipe calls for 8 ounces, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. So let's get the shredded cheese in there. And again, the whole time I'm doing this, my oven's been heating up. So let's get that spread evenly. I'll probably put some in the, in the middle of this, and I'll probably maybe I'll put some on the top. So. Okay, so I finished putting the cheese. I think I have about enough cheese in the middle. I'm going to save a little bit, about a quarter of the bag for the top, maybe a little less than a quarter of a bag. A little more. Never hurt anybody. Okay, I worry about cleaning up the end. All right, next I'm going to put this to the side, and I'm going to mix up the eggs. So I have a family of 4. I use a dozen eggs. So let me get cracking on my eggs. I have a paper plate here next to me to put the eggshells on. Alright, so just cracking some eggs. I'm going to fast forward through this. How's that sound? How about I try some of those YouTube tricks with the filming? How about I lift one up high and I do one of these and then try to put it in slow motion? Teaching myself video editing, teaching myself about lighting, about sound. I know my sound's been bad on my first couple of videos. So I got myself a new little microphone to attach to, I'm filming on my cell phone right now. It's an iPhone 10. I have also a GoPro up here. I have a regular old video camera, but every time I put the microphone on and I had what they call a boom mic, it always has that shh sound in the background. So that's the other thing I have to learn when I'm using multiple cameras. How do I get the color on all the clips to match, and how do I get the sound to be level on all the clips? So this is a learning process. I'm doing this, one, to help you because I know I found YouTube videos very motivational when I was losing my weight. I watched them for inspiration. And 2 is that this is my hobby. I love to play around with electronic stuff, with video cameras and the computer, and I use Final Cut Pro for the video editing. So, okay, I have some egg guts on my hands. I'm going to wash my hands right now. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to put in some salt and pepper and some milk, and then I'm going to whisk the eggs. Just a splash of salt and a splash of pepper. Give the eggs a little bit of flavor. You don't really need much because you have the flavor from the sausage, plus the sausage, salty. All right, and then I guess I use about a half cup of milk. I don't measure anything. I just figure it out. And I'm no cook by any means. I'm the kind of cook. I'm a middle-aged mom who's got running around with kids, and I got to get food on the table. And the reason I do this, and I go through the whole process of making sure I cook now on the weeknights, is because when we were running, well, we're still running around. My kids are in every sport and every activity going. But when, in the last few years, when I've gained a lot of weight, we would like stop at McDonald's after their games. We would stop at any old fast food place or pizza or Chinese food. And you can't eat out like that all the time and not gain weight. So in the process of losing the 125 pounds, big thing is eating a lot more meals at home. Not saying you can't eat out, but you have to eat out thoughtfully, and you have to do as much as you can to have homemade food so that you know what's in it, you know what your calorie count is. Like I said in past videos, I don't like count the macros, which is counting the fats and the carbs and the protein. I'm all about calories in, calories out. If I, put fewer calories in than I exert calories, I'm going to lose weight. So let's whisk the eggs, and then I'll just pour this over the top of the casserole in the Pyrex dish, put it in the oven for about 45 minutes at 350 degrees, and that's it. When I take it out, I have a nice home-cooked meal. And especially, it's an easy one to do on a weeknight. It's not, what's it to just to brown up some sausage and just to mix up some eggs. Obviously, it's taking me a long time right now because I'm talking to a camera, and my family thinks I'm nuts standing in the kitchen by myself talking to a camera. I'm actually not even talking to a camera. I'm talking to my cell phone. Oh no. Wonder if any of my friends will see this on the internet and say, what are you doing, Jill? I'll say I'm helping people because other people help me. Look at this. I can't decide if I'm a righty or lefty. I'm switching hands just to whisk. Okay. I think that's good enough. That looks nice and mixed. By the way, in addition to a paper plate that's holding the egg shells, I also keep a paper towel next to me so that I can kind of put my tools down on. Because I have one of these things to put the spoons on, the spoon rest, but I have too many things here that are not going to fit on there, so I'm just throwing everything on a paper towel that's next to me. Okay, so I'm going to bring the Pyrex dish in front of me. And again, we have shredded potatoes on the bottom, laid with the brown sausage, laid with the cheddar cheese, shredded cheddar cheese. Now I'm just going to try to evenly pour the eggs over that. And I try to spread it around the pan so that it's not thicker in one area than the other. I mean, it should disperse as it's going in there, but that's just the way I do it. Hopefully, that's good. Okay, just about done with that. All right. So that looks good. Maybe spread that around a little bit, nice and even. And I don't even think I need to put more cheese on the top because there's you see plenty of the cheese here still. I'll put a dash more. Use my left hand for that. Just kind of so this way I have a nice crust of cheese on the top of the casserole when it comes out of the oven. And then I cook it. I make sure it's cooked through, make sure it's browned a little bit on top, and that's it. Okay, so I've gone into MyFitnessPal, and I'm going to record my meal before I sit down to eat it. So let me go into where it says dinner. And the first thing I'll look for are the eggs. So there's an egg. I would say I have about the equivalent of 2 eggs in a serving of this breakfast casserole. And so it was a sausage egg casserole, right? So the next thing I'll look for is sausage. So let me type in breakfast sausage. Let me scroll through to find something. Here we go. Sausage. Johnsonville breakfast links. 3 links. 170 calories. I guess the amount of sausage I have was probably the equivalent to about 3 links, a serving of breakfast sausage. So I'm going to click on that and say add. All right. The next thing I'm going to look for are the hash browns, or they were frozen shredded potatoes. So what comes up? Let's see. Oh, right here. Hash browns, Orida shredded, 1 cup, 70 calories. I don't even think I'm having a cup full of hash browns with this meal for 1 serving, but just to be on the safe side, I'm going to count 70 calories. So let me put that in there. And the last thing I'm going to look for is the cheese. So I had Kraft shredded cheddar cheese. Okay, so the first thing that comes up is mild shredded cheese. Okay, so put that in, add that. And now you can see, I didn't count the pan spray, by the way. And you can see that I had a total of 493 calories for that meal. So now when I look at the bottom of the screen, my total for the day is 1123. I have a goal of 1470. So if I stick to this goal, then I have 347 calories left to play with for the day. So if I was hungry later tonight and I wanted to have a snack, I have enough calories left over to do that. To the right of all this are the carbs, fat, protein. Those are the macros. So if you were like a bodybuilder, really into fitness, and you'd be counting your macros, this is what you would look at. I don't really count macros other than I kind of look at the fats. Just because I kind of just go by calories, because my whole theory has always been every meal 500 calories or less, and if you take in fewer calories, you're going to lose weight.